Welcome to the Ancient Golems mod. This mod adds 13 brand new golems, new armor sets with special abilities, and even legendary weapons you can obtain by defeating each golem boss, all found inside their custom dungeons and castle. So, without further delay, let's get started. The first golem you might come across in your world is the Golem of the Origin, known as the oldest golem in existence. Legend says, it once fought alongside a brave hero against a cursed demon. They won the battle, but at a terrible cost. Now, the hero's tomb rests near the place where this ancient golem still wanders, guarding it for eternity. If you ever stumble upon a massive stone maze, congratulations, you found the home of the Golem of the Origin. This labyrinth can generate in plains or forest biomes, and inside you'll find great loot, but also tons of zombie and skeleton spawners. Perfect if you want to turn this place into an EXP farm. At the center of the maze lies the hero's tomb. Inside, you'll find a full set of enchanted golden armor with mending and protection 4, plus one of the strongest golden swords you'll ever see. In the side chest, you'll also discover an origin scroll, an ancient scroll, and a gem of nature. I'll explain what these do later. Now, this giant golden sword is the key to summoning the Golem of the Origin. Once you interact with it, the golem will rise from the ground to defend the resting place of its fallen hero. So make sure the area is prepared. Most of its attacks are area-based, launching you into the sky to deal fall damage, and it destroys almost everything in its path as it walks. If you manage to defeat it, the golem drops a weapon embedded in its back, the sword fragment. With this item, you can craft the Peacebringer by combining it with a totem of undying and a gem of nature on a smithing table. But be careful with this gemstone. A gem of the nature can also be used as a trinket. If you hold it in your offhand, it heals you every time you pick up experience orbs. If you decide to craft the Peacebringer, you'll unlock an incredibly powerful weapon that deals 14 damage. It is slower than a diamond sword, but absolutely worth it thanks to its 3 unique abilities. Right click grants you strength 1 and hero of the village, and every hit triggers a small explosion. Right click and sneak pushes away all nearby enemies and empowers your next attack with a bigger explosion, while also giving you resistance 1. The damage of these abilities scale with the regeneration effect, so if you have regeneration 2, your explosions become even stronger. Now let's move on to the next golem, which can be found in the Ice Spikes biome. As you can see, this structure only requires one thing. Place a carved pumpkin on top of this pile of snow, and that will begin the summoning of the Golem of the Primordial Ice. This golem wraps its entire arm in compacted ice to punch and freeze you solid. It can also clap its hands, sending out a shockwave of sound that slows you down. And once its health gets low, it unleashes a brand new attack, a massive snowball that's almost impossible to dodge. But don't celebrate just yet. Even if you drain all its health, the fight isn't over. The boss will jam a stick deep into its ice core, triggering phase 2. In this second phase, the Golem of the Primordial Ice switches to a huge ice mace, allowing it to perform powerful AoE strikes and summon a rain of falling ice blocks. It can also spawn mini ice golems that shoot icy pellets to slow you down even more. If you defeat the boss, it uses its final breath to fire a devastating ice beam, trying to take you down with it. But it also drops a Primordial Ice, an item you can now use to cast your own ice rain, or even create snow and ice paths over water. And if you combine this item with 2 sticks and a crafting table, you can craft the very weapon the boss used, capable of summoning an ice beam that wipes out everything in its path. How about we head to the Nether? Now let's move on to one of the most dangerous golems in the entire mod, the Golem of the Molten Forge. Unlike the previous bosses, this golem doesn't spawn in a normal structure or a summoning altar. You actually summon it yourself, but there's a very specific requirement. You must defeat 50 piglins in the Nether. Yes, 50. Once you reach that number, the world will start shaking and you'll hear a loud metallic roar. That's your sign that the Molten Forge is about to spawn. This golem erupts from a magma crack, fully covered in glowing red-hot iron plates. Its attacks are absolutely brutal. Punches that ignite the ground for several seconds, charging attacks that launch you backwards, and hammer slams that create small magma eruptions around him. On top of that, everywhere it walks, it breaks blocks and leaves a trail of magma blocks behind. If you manage to defeat him, he'll fall to his knees and release his burning core, dropping the highly coveted Molten Helmet, a helmet that grants permanent fire resistance and burns nearby enemies. And get this, it has double the armor of a netherite helmet. Yeah, it's absolutely busted. Defeating the Golem of the Molten Forge is a crazy challenge, but the rewards are definitely worth it. Now let's take a break from all the aggressive bosses and talk about an ally. In the end, aside from the usual cities and the dragon, you can now find a new structure called the Ender Shrine. It's a strange sanctuary floating over the void with a small altar at the center. And on that altar, you'll be able to obtain a very special item, the Eye of the Guardian. This item is far more than simple decoration. The Eye of the Guardian is used to summon the Ender Guardian, a golem-like protector that will fight by your side and defend you at all costs. boss. The moment you use it, this massive end guardian appears and immediately becomes your personal bodyguard, protecting you from any hostile mobs that gets too close while you explore the end or travel back to the overworld. The Ender Guardian focuses on pulling aggro and keeping enemies busy while you deal the main damage or heal up. It's perfect when you're surrounded by Endermen, and if you're a technical player, it's amazing for mob farms. Just imagine the possibilities. It's an incredibly useful tool. Now, let's move on to one of my favorite golems in the entire mod, the Chubby Golem. Yes, its official name is the Origin Golem, but let's be honest, this guy is so wide that calling him Chubby Golem just fits perfectly. This golem is summonable. You won't find it in a structure or biome. Instead, you have to build it yourself, just like an iron golem, but thicker, a wider, bulkier version of the classic shape. And to bring him to life, you'll need the Origin Scroll. So where do you get the Origin Scroll? If you remember at the very beginning of the video, inside the maze of the oldest golem, the one guarding the hero's tomb, that's where you can find both the Origin Scroll and the Natural Scroll. Both are extremely important for this golem. Once you summon the base Chubby Golem, you'll see how useful he is. You can ride him without needing a saddle. Yep, you can just hop on and move around like he's your own walking tank. But here's where things get even better. If you use the Natural Scroll on the Chubby Golem, you'll upgrade him. The upgraded versions slam the ground so hard that he causes AoE damage, launching blocks upward and smashing everything that gets too close. It's super satisfying to watch and incredibly strong in combat. But what if you want something even stronger? Something a bit more evil? That's where the Demonic Scroll comes in. To craft it, you'll need Blood Flame, Blaze Rods, 2 Netherite Ingots, and an Origin Scroll. And how do you get Blood Flame? You get it by breaking a Blood Flame Rose, a rare plant that grows randomly in the Nether. If you ever see one, don't ignore it. It's extremely valuable. When you give the Demonic Scroll to the base Chubby Golem, you're basically making a pact with a demon. The golem transforms into a much more powerful version. Now it throws fireballs, burns nearby enemies, and can summon a fire rain that melts everything around him. This demonic version can no longer be ridden, but it makes up for it by dealing an insane amount of damage. It stays friendly to you, of course, but for your enemies, it's an absolute nightmare. This demonic golem will give you an extra life. If you die, the golem will die, sacrificing his life for you. Before we move on to the final boss, let me quickly talk about 2 more random golems that are still pretty interesting. In this swamp biome, you'll sometimes see a golem wandering around that used to be a regular iron golem, but it was abandoned by its creator. Now it just roams aimlessly, attacking any hostile mob it sees. Here's the interesting part. If this golem dies while a slime or an ooze is nearby, it will immediately transform into an ooze golem. The ooze golem is weaker but way more fun. You'll see them all over the swamp, and when they die, there's a 50% chance they'll spawn an ooze. And the best part, you can tame an ooze using slime balls. Once it's tamed, you can ride it, and if you hold a slime block while riding, it actually moves faster. Oh, and here's a funny detail. If your ooze is tamed, you can literally bucket it. Yep, just scoop it up like a sticky little axolotl. Before we talk about the final boss, we first need to cover the place where it's found, because getting there is anything but easy. The final boss is hidden inside a massive castle, completely packed with golem guards. These guards are extremely aggressive, tanky, and always attack in groups. Entering this place unprepared is basically a guaranteed death. And worst of all, the castle is very difficult to find naturally. Luckily, there is a way to locate it. You need to find a structure known as the Knight's Carriage. This medieval looking carriage is loaded with chests full of diamond and gold, but don't let the treasure fool you. It is absolutely swarming with golem guards. Among them, there is one enemy you must watch out for, the Cleric Golem. This golem constantly heals the other guards and inflicts debuffs on you, such as weakness and slowness, and that can completely ruin the fight. So whenever you enter the structure, your top priority should be taking down the Cleric first before dealing with anything else. Every guard you defeat will drop wrought steel scraps, a material used to craft the raw armor, and this armor is no joke. It gives you lightning immunity and even grants extra buffs every time lightning strikes you. This will be insanely important later because in the final boss castle, tons of lightning will be rained down from the golems. On top of that, the guards in the Knight's Carriage can also drop a weird looking pumpkin. With this pumpkin, 6 paper, and 2 redstone, you can craft a special map that will lead you straight to the final boss castle. Now that we have the location secured, in the next part, we'll finally talk about the boss itself. And now, after everything we've covered, it's finally time to face the final boss of the mod. This boss is located inside a massive castle, completely packed with golem guards. Fighting through every corridor is pure chaos. They attack from every angle, strike you with lightning, knock you back, and slow you down. But we're not going to focus on every hallway. We're skipping straight to the important part, the boss itself. This boss can apply a debuff called Lightning Chain, which makes random lightning strikes hit you from time to time no matter where you are. You can be blocking, running, or even hiding behind walls and and the lightning will still find you. That's exactly why the raw armor we mentioned earlier is so important. Without it, this fight will burn you down in seconds. The fight has two phases. In the first phase, the boss calls down lightning around the castle, hits you with strong knockback attacks, and keeps constant pressure on you. It can also mark the ground and strike it a moment later, so you need to stay moving the entire time. When its health drops to around half, it enters phase 2. In this phase, it starts summoning many more lightning strikes, attacks faster, hits from farther away, and applies lightning chain much more frequently. The whole arena turns into a storm, and if you're not prepared, you won't last long. If you manage to defeat it, the boss drops 2 legendary items, the Storm Ruler and the Gem of Thunder. Storm Ruler is a legendary sword with several abilities. With right click, you use Thunder Flash. You teleport 16 blocks forward, deal level 5 lightning damage on impact, and inflict weakness. Your next attack will then call down lightning on the enemy and inflict slow. If you hold right click and sneak, you use Thundering Fury. You charge your sword, gaining 1 stack per second, and after 3 stacks, you call forth a huge pillar of lightning that crashes down in a straight line. On top of that, it has a passive ability called Power of Storm. When it's raining or there's a thunderstorm, Thunder Flash and Thundering Fury deal even more lightning damage, and Thundering Fury's cooldown is reduced to 0. All of this scales with your speed stat, so the faster you are, the harder this weapon hits. The second item is the Gem of Thunder. Its effect is simple but extremely strong. Lightning strikes will buff you instead of hurting you, as long as you hold the gem in your hand. You can also use the Gem of Thunder to craft another Storm Ruler if your sword ever breaks, so by farming this boss, you can technically get multiple copies of this weapon. And that's the entire Ancient Golems mod. What did you think of it from 1 to 10? Let me know down in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end, please drop a like. This video took a lot of time to make, so I'd really appreciate it. If you don't have anyone to play Minecraft with, I also have a Discord server where I host Minecraft events and you can meet new people to play with, and link is in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to follow and subscribe for more.